The UK, Italy and Japan have announced that they will jointly develop a next-generation fighter jet by 2035. The new Tempest fighter jet will use artificial intelligence and will operate without a pilot on board. The Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, says the joint venture aims to create thousands of jobs in the UK and also strengthen security ties. Mr Sunak will launch the first major phase of the programme later on Friday during a visit to RAF Coningsby in Lincolnshire in the UK in the Midlands area. Well, joining me now is Professor Michael Clarke. He is Associate Director of Strategy and Security at Exeter University. Thank you for joining us here on BBC News. Isn't this just a larger drone?
No, because the principle behind it, if it works, sixth generation aircraft, is that one Tempest aircraft, which would have a pilot or maybe two pilots in it, would then control a little air wing of 5 or 6 robotic aircraft. So it's more than just a drone. It's like an air wing all of its own. And it's similar to what's happening in the maritime sphere, where there are drone ships now. We saw the Ukrainians attack Sevastopol harbour with entirely drone ships, and it's happening on the battlefield with tanks, drone tanks, controlled by one tank with a crew in it. So this is the direction in which warfare is thought to be going for the 2030s, 2040s, where one active unit, an aircraft, a ship, or a tank, controls a number of robots which are connected to it.
How much input will there be from humans, though?
Oh, well, it's all about human interaction. Essentially, a crew on the ground with a pilot in the air will then actually work out how to deploy effectively an air wing of 4 or 5 different Tempest aircraft. I mean, that's the ambition. Whether it'll work out that way, we'll have to see. But when you watch all the whizzy videos that are produced on these things, that's what the idea behind it is, that one pilot can control 5 or 6 different aircraft, all doing different things.
OK, so it's the number of aircraft that can be controlled, because I was about to ask you, why would you do this, and what's the difference between going on autopilot?
Oh, well, the difference is having a human being in the loop and having as it were, a force multiplier. So the theory is that you don't just have single aircraft with people in them, but aircraft that can control other aircraft. And so it allows you to multiply the force. And if you can afford it, then in theory, you can actually produce a lot of aircraft over a target or over an area of the battle, which can all do different things. So it is it's a great idea if it can be worked out, and it's based, of course, on just not robotics, but artificial intelligence and the ability to coalesce a lot of material.
Professor Clarke, in terms of UK, Italy and Japan, what do you make of that relationship strategically? What are they all gaining by this?
Well, we may gain an international partnership. The danger, of course, is that we won't have anything, that there'll be fratricide between what we're producing and what the French and the Germans and the Spanish are going to produce, and they'll cancel each other out and we won't have any. That's always a possibility. In theory, because we're now a Brexit country, it makes certain sort of sense to have a relationship with a country like Japan, which is certainly very sophisticated in its technology. So a link with Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, maybe even with Sweden, eventually might turn out to be a good linkage if it can be made to work. But we're talking about 15 or 20 years down the line.
Does this make financial sense?
Well, it's going to cost a great deal. The Germans and the French are spending about 100 billion euros on it. Eventually, we've committed about £6 billion, 2 billion of our own, and each of the other partners, Italy and Japan, have committed about 2 billion. It's affordable if you choose to afford it, but it will be immensely expensive, and it will take 10 or 15 years to produce. So the one thing you can guarantee is it will cost a great deal more, and it will take a great deal longer than is being advertised at the moment.
OK, Professor Michael Clarke, fascinating conversation. Thank you very much from Exeter University. Thank you.